Protests in Iran have been taking place across the country following the death of a woman in police custody. Iran's so-called morality police had arrested her for not wearing her hijab correctly. Demonstrators refused to back down despite a brutal response by authorities. The fundamentalist Shiite government is calling on people to stop the protests, but so far the calls have had little effect.
The people versus the state. So far, Iranian authorities are holding firm. That's the elite Revolutionary Guards, who control most of the economy and security, and the clerics, led by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, who make the rules. Officials say the unrest is the work of foreign agents, especially the US and Israel. Why did our enemies, why did America and the Zionist regime conspire against our country and our revolution to create these riots? As the Supreme Leader said, our country is advancing and the enemies don't want our country to make progress. For their part, protesters aren't just angry about one policy, they're rejecting the whole regime. A regime that has not tried to accommodate them. Instead, the head of the Revolutionary Guards has tried to play down the level of public discontent. We are telling our youth, the minority who have been deceived, to stop wicked acts. Today is the end of the riots. Don't go to the streets anymore. But unlike in protests of the past, this time around, students have been joined by working-class crowds, a broad-based, loose alliance that threatens the regime's base of support. Burning hijabs and attacking police stations, rejecting the authority of the security services and the religious rules of the clerics. The challenge for Iran's rulers is to manage the protests without setting off more unrest. That's a difficult balance, and it's one that it's far from clear the government is capable of.
Joining us now is Cornelius Adebar, Iran expert and political analyst at the Center for European Policy Studies here in Berlin. Now, how stable do you think is the Iranian regime right now?
Well, for now, we have to say that it is holding the line. The protests have been going on for weeks already. They have maintained, I would say, a base level. These are not millions taking to the streets, but there are hundreds and thousands going for marches every day throughout the entire country. And as you've said, these are people from almost all walks of life. So this is considerable. This is threatening the basis of the regime. People are shouting death to the dictator. So this is not about, higher pay or better living conditions, but this is fundamentally about what the Islamic Republic is about. But as I say, so far the regime is crashing it. They are putting out their riot control guards, and they are holding the line. We have to see that this is the situation at the moment.
OK, they're holding the line for the moment, but do you think the protest movement could actually pose a real threat to the regime?
Well, I do think that it could. We need a couple of more ingredients for this to be an actual threat, like having higher numbers of people taking to the street, having more of a coherent organization behind this, and ultimately having some like a program, some things, some demands that they can put out there, which also show to the regular people, if I can say so, those who are not demonstrating but who may sympathize, showing them that there is an alternative. Because for now, I mean, the revolution is a little over 40 years ago, but this is all that people know. And in the past, all these riots and protests, they have been put down. So you have to really convince the majority of the people that there is an actual alternative, that things can be different from what they know for the past 4 decades.
Now, Iran is an important regional power. How are the protests viewed in neighboring countries?
Well, you know, there's regional power and it has a lot of regional rivals, if I can say so. So, you know, they are wary, I would like to say. Of course, some may secretly have a desire to see the regional rival in trouble and to see it engulf in these street protests. They may even wish for some kind of regime change. But then again, you know, popular protests turning violent is not a recipe that they would like to have in their own country. So a successful revolution, let alone a successful democratic liberal revolution, as many people outside the country wish for, this would not be a good omen for the more authoritarian regimes in the region. So they are careful, I would like to say.
Cornelius Adebar there from the Center for European Studies here in Berlin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
An Israeli musician whose songs in Farsi have made her one of the voices of Iran's protest movement. Liraz Shari was born in Israel to Iranian parents. As an Israeli, she's not allowed to enter Iran, and the internet has allowed her music to cross borders, where she can't. But today, her songs are doing more than connecting cultures. They've become a soundtrack for the anti-regime protests sweeping through Iran.
Together, we'll start a revolution. How much longer will we be quiet, keep our heads down, our knees bent? Outrageous words from the point of view of the Iranian regime. From a singer seen as equally outrageous. Liraz is Jewish, an Israeli, and sings in Farsi, the official language of Iran.
It's really not about me. I had the choice to sing in Farsi to spread the word of the women in Iran that are muted until today. Since the revolution, they are not able to do this, you know, pure, simple thing, and it's to sing.
Liraz was born in Israel to Jewish Iranian parents who had to leave their homeland. In Israel, Liraz is a well-known actress and pop singer. Switching from singing in Hebrew to singing in Farsi posed a risk to her career. Even riskier was her idea to work with Iranian musicians in Tehran. They started a collaboration that was initially online, but for her new album, they met secretly in a basement studio in Istanbul.
There was a day that they left and I needed to record last song. I couldn't sing. I lost my voice. I felt like I'm doing this big mistake, and until they got home, I couldn't breathe. It was tough.
Now, her music has become part of protests in Iran. Every day, she receives messages and videos of Iranian women breaking the law to dance to her music without headscarves, or pictures of anti-regime demonstrations set to her songs.
Every time I ask myself, why are we doing what we're doing? Is this so important? And I said to myself, yeah, because it's not only music, it's a message.
A woman taking a stand for freedom in Iran. Yesterday, she sang at a club in Hamburg, one of many stops on her world tour. But her greatest wish is to sing in Iran one day soon.